Hi, it's Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. I'm back again with my plans and pans. I'm at home like many Americans are. My husband Bob is taking this video, and I thought I would begin with the pans. We have what is called a strategic national stockpile, a gathering of things that we need in our country that the federal government is supposedly supposed to distribute. But Jared Kushner, who has some ambiguous role now, the son-in-law of the president, and was at the White House briefing yesterday, made this observation. I want to quote him. He said that the notion of the federal stockpile is that it's supposed to be our stockpile. It's not supposed to be states' stockpile that they use for their things. Now, think about that. As the governor of the state of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, pointed out in his briefing today, he thought he wanted to pass the message to Kushner and to the president, this is the United States of America. That's who we are. And you know, the president, even in terms of distributing things, said not too long ago that he is not a shipping clerk. All we want from the federal government is to make sure that we have leadership there to make sure that the people who are putting their lives on the line every day have the kind of protective equipment that they need. I am hearing in my office from nurses and people who work in nursing homes that they don't have the masks and the gowns and the gloves that they need. If they're in that stockpile, they should be distributed among the states, and the federal government ought to help us acquire those instead of saying it's really up to the states. And in fact, the president has been critical of the states and local governments that are struggling. So what we're hoping to see now going forward is a president that takes this seriously and that is willing to take some leadership in making sure that everyone in every state and every person has what they need to make it through this worldwide pandemic. I wanted to mention two very important programs. The Paycheck Protection program, which started today, this is Friday, is a program that I fear is not funded well enough, but it's a great program. What it says to small businesses, that's 500 employees or less, is that if you keep your employees on the payroll, then you will not just get a loan, it will be a grant. The loan will be forgiven. And that loan and that grant can be used for other things as well, to pay your rent for your business, to pay your utilities, etc. But you've got to keep those employees on your staff, the same head count as you've had before this virus has disrupted business. And so you can apply now. And in the next bill, I want to be able to get more money for that wonderful program. Secondly, you know that 6.6 million Americans filed for unemployment insurance just this week. Imagine. And so states like Illinois have expanded unemployment insurance. The Democrats were able to add more weeks to the unemployment insurance program. And so if you think you're eligible, and that now, unemployment now includes gig workers, contract workers, people who haven't been eligible before, then you want to check with our local unemployment insurance program and get yourself some help. So let me tell you, I have talked to every one of the mayors in my district. And one of the things I hear from them is that they are getting very little help. We put $150 billion into a fund that is going to the states, but local governments who have first responders who need to have the equipment that they need to keep themselves safe. They are very concerned. So that is going to be something that we as a Democratic caucus are discussing what's going to be in the next bill that we pass. One of those things is going to be more help from local governments. So in the next bill, I just wanted to give you a list of some of the things that we're talking about. We are hearing from many people that even the $1,200 for adults and $500 for children is just simply not going to cut it. Partly because it's a one-time dividend that's coming out. And so what we're looking at is something more regular for families to sustain them through this period. Just a one-shot is helpful, but it's certainly not going to be enough. We want more funding for the SNAP program. You know what that is? That we used to call that the food stamp program. We want to make sure that more people are eligible and that there is more money to make sure that food is going to be available. And thank you by the way, to all of the food pantries, the Greater Chicago Food Depository helping to get, and schools that are helping to get the food out. We want to make sure that there's OSHA protection, the occupational safety and health. A lot of workers that are still employed right now are in dangerous situations, and we want to make sure that in the law that they are protected, and if their employers are not protecting them, that will be a violation of the law. We want to make sure that there is no war profiteering going on, that we're not seeing that various companies, including pharmaceutical companies, are actually gouging cities and states and individuals right now with higher prices. And this is very important that when we go to the private sector, which we unfortunately are having to do more than I think we should, that we want to make sure that they're not taking advantage of this situation and price gouging. We can build some of that into the next bill. We want to do some pension bolstering. Some of our pension funds are very weak. We want to address the digital divide, not only expanding broadband, but making sure that many of our students at home who don't have computers, who don't have fast internet, are going to be able to be equal with other students that have those things. We want to make sure that Planned Parenthood is not excluded from getting some of the health care funding, which they were in the last bill that we passed. We want to make sure that we expand the earned income tax credit for lower income people and the child tax credit as well. We want to put in the bill that everyone should be able to vote by mail in this country. That, certainly right now that would be a big help, but always it would be an important addition to our election law, being able to vote by mail. We want to make sure that we deal with housing issues, including a national moratorium on evictions right now. And we want to make sure that somebody is really in charge, that we have somebody who's in charge of the supply chain and not just the heads of hospitals saying that they have to spend their time full time just trying to get the supplies they need. So there are a lot of things that we can do in the next bill. We need more cooperation from the federal government, and we need to honor the people that are working right now. I like to thank the people that are at my neighborhood jewel store. They are there bagging my groceries and stocking the shelves and taking my money, and they are facing the public. So thank you for all of you who are out there working today. And we appreciate your service. And for all of you that are staying home, I want to thank you for that too, because social distancing is one of the things that's going to help us flatten that curve and lessen the number of people who get this coronavirus. For those of you that have, I want to wish you the best, and certainly we want to provide all the health care that you need. So I'll be back next week, probably from home. See you then. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where my handle is @Jan Schakowsky.